Here's a good one: how to keep your man sexually satisfied. I love this subject. It's a beautiful subject. It's a subject that I teach women because we need to learn, and I had to learn it. I teach them how to be humble, how to become selfless. And it's not all just about me, but it's reciprocated when you humble yourself and you want to think of his soul and how to keep him sexually satisfied and his neck turned towards you at all times. So here's some of the things that I teach when a woman hits a certain age, maybe 40 to 60, she goes very in touch with her body. She, like I taught, what's happening, if you look at some of my videos, sex in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, 70s, beyond, and what you like, what's happening to your body, and how you become curious. Sometimes you see a younger man look at you and you're like, whoa, I wish I knew this 20 years ago, what I know today. And these are the things that, I'll teach you how to satisfy your man. Because then we realize, well, sex is fun at our age and it's healthier than ever. You want to keep him sexually addicted and is sexually addicted to you. Keep his head turned towards you. Let him notice you. Because you know what? Men, even in their 80s, they're addicted to porn. A lot of men are addicted to porn. But you know what? You don't need to compete with a woman on the other side of the screen because she doesn't exist in your own bed chambers. She doesn't exist. So you keep him sexually attracted to you by being your own porn star in your bedroom. Because every man's going to be looking, and that's okay. But you know what? You want him to want you just as much or more, of course, than he wants any other woman on the face of the earth, because you're the one who's living and breathing and alive, and you want to be sexually satisfied. You want him to be sexually satisfied, and that's when you become one with him and only him. And that's when sex explodes, because sex is fun, sex is exciting, unless all you want is an average sexless marriage. So I have a list of erotic things that I say. So let's talk about the first one, which I love, which is dirty talk. Some people call it slut talk, and a list of erotic things that you can say. Sometimes I'll show, and I teach the women, sometimes I'll show my husband a beautiful woman, a woman that's walking by, and I'll tease him. Say, what do you think? What do you think of her? What do you think? What do you like about her? And then, just tease him and just stimulate his mind, and to let him know that I am sexually confident. And then I'll say, boy, she has beautiful breasts. Boy, look at her feet. That's a fetish. I look at how beautiful her eyes are. Look at her hair. It's thick. It's beautiful. I try to the reason why I do that, so he knows that I am not threatened by any other woman. And like I've said, I've prepared myself with my diet. I prepared myself to be a fully confident sexual woman. So I can say those things. My Hungarian mother has taught me that, be like an animal in heat in the streets of Hungary, running through the streets of Hungary, lusting after my prey, and of finding and searching in the middle of the night for my lover. Since we're talking about dirty talk, slut talk, whatever you want to call it. These are some of the things I suggest. I do, and I suggest every day. Send, how about sexting? I send an erotic picture of myself to my husband. Sometimes the pictures I will put a little meme on and say something very seductive. Remember, profanity in the bedchambers is okay. Remember, the marriage bed is undefiled for the Christians out there. So anything, that you both agree on is fine. And so, if you have a lot of dirty talk and, some slang words going on in the bedchambers, that's hot. It's very hot. Videos, maybe maybe he's not home and you're running naked around the house. You want to put some lingerie on. You want to, embellish it a little bit more, get some makeup on or whatever. And then, put one of your themed outfits on, and you take a video of yourself and, you touch yourself. That's okay. You, touch yourself in places. Maybe you have a special toy that you want to incorporate into your video to entice him to look and go, wow, she's really hot. Or you'll say, just a text, I'm not wearing any panties today, and see his response. I'm sure whatever he's doing, he's going to be thinking about you. Another text, I have a surprise for you tonight. Let him keep thinking all day long. What is that? His mind will be on you, you, you. I want to try something new tonight. And that's when your education comes in. What could that be? What is new? What introducing, like I said, a new toy, a new outfit, a new position, a new spirit of yourself, a new whatever. Always being educated and have a mentor in your life to teach you and to show you there's new things, always new things you could do in the bedchambers. It's never ending. So in the category of keeping your man sexually satisfied and keeping his attention on you, I have a really good story. It's a very unusual story. You can come up with your own story, or I can help you come up with a story. But I got this idea because my husband goes away a lot to write, and he goes, maybe a couple hours away, and he writes his books. He needs, solemn and time alone. So he was away for a couple of weeks, and I got this idea on the full moon. I'm like, every full moon, once you get to know me, I love the full moon. So during the full moon night, I texted him and I said, "How about tonight we look at the full moon together at a particular time?" And he said, "Sure, okay, let's do that." So I had a few hours, so I prepared, and I prepared with. I was getting ready to drive 2-3 hours away, and I dressed up in my goth for the night. I put on my goth Venetian cape. I was naked underneath. I brought my candelabra. I brought extra candles. I put my stockings on. I put my shoes on. I did my hair. I was all prepared, and I knew what I wanted to do with him that night. And that was make love underneath the full moon. But I did not tell him I was coming. I just said, we're going to go out and look at the full moon at the same time tonight, okay? And he was all raring, writing away and raring, sure, I'll meet you then. And here I am. I'm driving down naked in my cape with my little suitcase, with my candelabra, with my matches, with everything, with my little Bic, everything. I had everything prepared, and my little sex bag full of goodies and toys, and my mask. I had it next to me, and so I pulled into the driveway. I had turned the lights down low on my car, and I pulled in the dark, and then after I got it, I got my candelabra all lit up and put my mask on. I put my hood over. I when I got out of the car, I walked into the back of the house and I had my phone in hand and I said, now's the time. The moon is high. Let's look at the moon together. Walk out on the balcony and look at the moon and let's look at it together. He said, sure. And then as he walks out from the balcony and he's looking up, and all of a sudden he looks down at me, and there I am standing with my hooded Venetian goth cape and my candelabra that's got like 8 candles on it. It's heavy, but that's okay. It's heavy. And I have part of the cape opened up where you can see my naked body underneath. And he was shocked. And I went up and I had a lot of things I wanted to do with him. And we had the night that we're never going to forget for the rest of our lives. And we became so one that night with all the things that we did. And it was beautiful, went on for hours and hours and hours. And I know that my husband will never forget that moment for the rest of his life. And I'm sure, maybe, who knows, maybe he'll write it in a book. I don't know. And I'm sure he'll tell our grandchildren, this is how your grandmother kept my attention that night. I do want to say this. And I know that that evening, my husband thought I was the most erotic, sensual, most confident, beautiful, gorgeous, inside and outside. I made such a scene that night and I shocked him so well that I know he'll never forget. His neck will never turn to another woman again, even just because of that night, because I took so much time and preparation for him. So, ladies, as you keep up your sexual diet of all the things that I'm sharing with you about what to do to keep your man's attention and become sexually confident in your bedchambers, this is just as important as cooking and learning how to cook and watching your cooking shows, going to the gym to prepare your body in fitness, learning how to get rid of your trauma and getting rid of your trauma so you can become that fully sexual confident woman. Unless you look at this as being equally important as all the other things that you have to do in your life, you will have a very average, and I predict an average marriage, sexual life, and nothing is ever going to go any further, and you're going to stay mediocre, and you're not going to go to any higher places to have any sexual fun, because sex is exciting and sex is fun, and we should always be growing and learning. And we don't want average marriages. We don't want average sexual relationships with our partner. We don't want average. We want more than average. And that's what I want for you.